Hey, what's up, guys? So a lot of people have been telling me recently that I do pretty crazy jumps while I'm playing Warzone. So I decided to try to make a little tutorial video, something that I've never done before, but a video showcasing all of the secret jumps that I use while playing Warzone. Now, I am a little late to the party, but there are a few jump spots that I think that some of you guys won't really know about, especially if you're a newer player. You probably won't know about most of these jumps. So I think you guys will definitely learn something or two with this gameplay. Now, I'm not really going to make this introduction too long. I'm going to start with the jump spots that I use on the buildings that are on the map multiple times, like the houses that are repeated and some of the other buildings that are repeated. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to have jump spots that are more location specific, ones that have helped me while playing Warzone. With that being said, let's get into the jump spots. Now, for the first jump spot that I'll be going over, I actually found this one out not that long ago, but this one involves the yellow houses that are scattered across the Warzone map. Now, a lot of people love to camp in these little yellow houses, especially if they're upstairs. There's only one real way to push them, and that is the staircase. But as you guys are seeing right now, all you have to do is stand in the windowsill and angle yourself upwards while looking up towards the little canopy and jump while strafing left ever so slightly, and you will make it up to the canopy. And it's a great way to clear out anybody that's camping on the upstairs. And from the top of the canopy, you can also jump into basically any of the front-facing windows that are on the house, the second floor ones, I should say. Now, this next one is a little bit more obvious than the first one that I mentioned. But again, this is a house that appears all over the place in the Warzone map. So if you ever do find yourself in one of these houses, this jump will definitely help. This one's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to get to the roof of one of these houses, all you really have to do is jump from the attic window onto the little canopy that is above the front door. And from the canopy, you can actually mantle yourself onto the roof. This is helpful in two scenarios. Whether somebody's pushing you, you can run up to the attic, jump out the window, and quickly get onto the roof. They'll jump right out the window thinking that you're on the ground, and you'll have the high ground on them. And also, if one of these houses is in the final zone, you can use the roof to your advantage to have a high ground on your opponent. Now, this next jump spot is at these white houses that are also scattered all around the Warzone map. Now, a large majority of these houses have an object that you can actually jump off of to get onto the roof from the outside of the house instead of using the second floor window. Worst comes to worst, if there is not a way to get up, you can also use a car to get onto the roof of these houses, but that's not the jump spot that I want to share with you guys. The more important jump spot that is in this clip right here is actually from getting or the shorter roof onto the taller roof. All you really have to do is make sure that you are tactical sprinting when you enter the jump, and you want to jump right when your character's feet meet where the two angled parts of the roof meet, like right in the middle of the roof. And once you're in the air, you want to angle your body towards the taller roof and mantle onto the roof. And in order to do that, you have to jump again. This is very important in one of two ways, because if an enemy is chasing you through this house and he pushes you upstairs but he's behind you, you can actually get out of the house from the second floor window and jump from the lower roof up to the higher roof. If you do it quick enough to where he doesn't see you, they will jump out of the second floor window as well looking for you, and you can beam them pretty easily because a lot of people do not know about this jump. Now, this one is pretty basic, but I decided to throw it in since it is a jump video. This one will definitely help newer players. But for every single garage that is in this shape across the Warzone map, there is always a little shelving unit off to the side of it, and you can easily mantle from the shelving unit onto the top of the garages. Not going to talk about this one too much, but I figured I would throw this one in the video. Now, this next jump is basically the exact opposite of the previous one I showed. This one is one of my personal favorites, and I'm not going to lie, it takes a lot of trial and error to get it down just right. Now, I've used this jump effectively plenty of times, but even after practicing it a lot, I still can't hit it first try every time. Now, these houses that I'm showing right now are all over the map of Warzone, just like the previous jump spots. But the one that is shaped like this has a very secret jump spot that almost no players know about. What you can actually do is get onto the roof of these houses. Now, most of these houses have a way to get onto the roof, but like I said before, you can also use a car to get onto the roof. And if somebody's camping the attic, especially in solos, there's a chance that the person that is camping the attic will hear you come up, and they will definitely watch the stairs thinking that you're going to try to come up the stairs and push them. But if you do find a way onto the roof, you can actually jump from the roof into the second floor window if you time your jump just right. The reason this one is so difficult is because even if you have auto mantle off, you will tend to automatically mantle if you jump too early. All you want to do is slightly push right on the thumbstick till you fall off the roof, and at the perfect time you want to jump again so your character will actually mantle into the second floor window. Like I said, this one is very difficult, but if you can get it down, it helps in so many situations, especially in solos, because these houses are scattered all around the map and people love to camp in the attics of them. Now this next jump is for the buildings that have 2 floors and they have the ammo stashes down below. These are found in multiple areas in the Warzone map, but especially the one that is next to Superstore. Now I don't know if they patched the sideways mantle, but I couldn't get a clip of me sideways mantling from the ladder into the second floor window, but if you guys can still do that, that is definitely a thing. That is not the jump that I want to share with you guys. Actually, there is a way to get from the roof of this building into the second floor window. With practice, you can do it a lot quicker than what I show in this clip, but all you really have to do is get above the second floor window, look down, and slowly walk backwards, and the moment that your character falls off of the ledge, you just have to mantle and you will mantle into the second floor window. This jump is very key if you are on the roof and somebody pushes into the building while you are on the roof. It helps a lot. Or maybe you know that there is somebody that is camping in the second floor and you somehow get onto the roof of this building, you can use this jump to your advantage to sneak into the building without them realizing. Now this next jump does require a car, and it has to do with those rectangular buildings that have the ladder in the middle to get to the second floor. I would say most of these buildings that are around the map will require a car to do this jump spot, but there are a few that have a way to get onto the little canopy above the door without a car. Basically what you want to do is, if somebody is camping on the second floor of this rectangular shaped building, you want to get a car and drive it onto the staircase that is under the little canopy. Before you exit the vehicle, you do want to make sure that you fully apply the brakes, because you do not want the car to roll off of the staircase. And once you have the car parked there, all you really want to do is jump from the ground onto the car, from the car onto the little canopy, and from the canopy you can strafe right and jump into the second floor window. Most of the people that are camping in this building will definitely expect you to come up the stairs or the little doorway, but if you do this jump spot, you can easily get into the second floor window and surprise them. Now for this next one, it is kind of area specific. It is the pizza place that is in the industrial area next to the neighborhood above stadium and downtown. But like almost every jump in this video, if you do have a car, you can replicate the exact same thing. Now this is one of the first jumps that I ever figured out, but if you jump onto the little fence that is next to the pizza place, you can actually get from the fence into the second floor area of the pizza place, and if anybody's camping up there, they're going to be watching the stairs and not expect a thing. Now this jump is kind of specific. When you're on the fence next to the pizza place, you want to make sure that you're on one of the poles that connects each of the fence panels, and when you're on the pole, you're going to want to make sure that you tactical sprint off of the pole, and you're going to want to jump and then jump again so you can mantle onto the second floor ledge. This jump is slightly difficult, but with enough practice and enough trial and error, you'll definitely be able to get it down on your first attempt every attempt. Now this next building is the building that I call the ground war building, because it is in the ground war map in the multiplayer. This building appears a couple times throughout the map with slight variations to it, but once you get the hang of all the jump spots in the one that is right next to Superstore, you can utilize those same jump spots in the ones that are in Quarry and other parts of the map. So from the little fire hydrant thing from the outside of the building, you can actually jump onto the canopy above the doorway, and from the doorway you can get into the second floor window. There is a little bit of roof overhang that is on the outside of that main window in the second floor, and you can actually use that overhang to get from the overhang onto the little catwalk that is outside. From the catwalk, of course, you can jump onto the roof of this building, and whether you're doing that jump to get high ground or push enemies that are on the roof, it works in both ways. I know I missed a couple with this one, and this building is only on the map a couple times, but these jump spots will definitely help you guys out. Next secret jump, it involves the blue warehouses that are spread across the map. Now these blue warehouses are in quite a few locations, and all of them are the exact same on the inside, so this jump spot works on all of them. But basically what you want to do is if you're on the main floor of the building, there is actually another way to get onto the second floor without taking the staircase on the outside or the interior staircase. In all of these buildings, there is a little locker that is next to the second floor window that is inside of the garage, and you can actually find a way to get on top of the locker in the garages, and from the locker you can jump into the second floor window. This jump spot is very helpful, but also it is one of those jump spots that only really works in very specific situations. animations. Now this next one is very area specific, but if you manage to get a end circle and the cul-de-sac towards the bottom of the map is in the end circle, this one is very helpful. There is a box truck that is parked outside of the bigger house in the cul-de-sac, and if you can get on top of the box truck, from the box truck you can actually long jump onto the canopy that is above the back door of the house, and from that canopy you have multiple windows that you can choose to enter the house from, and if anybody's camping upstairs they will not expect a thing. I believe there's only one other house on the map that is laid out just like this one, and the other one I believe you will need a car to get onto the canopy. This jump is definitely incredibly helpful to sneak up on the teams that may be camping on the second floor of this house. So for this next jump, this building appears across the Warzone map a couple of times. For this example, I decided to choose the one in Boneyard. I call it the L-shaped building, and there is actually a way to get into the second floor without taking these stairs. Now, most of these buildings that are on the Warzone map, you can actually get on the roof without a car, but for the ones that you do need a car, you'll obviously need a car. But once you get onto the lower roof of the building, you can actually jump from the little overhang of the lower roof into the second floor window. Now, when people are camping in this building, they're going to be watching the stairs, and if you jump through the second floor window, you'll definitely catch them off guard. Now, a building I mentioned a few clips ago, you can actually jump from the highest point of the lowest roof onto the tallest roof. You use the same technique as the one that I mentioned before, and it's pretty simple to do once you get it down. If you need to use the roof as high ground, if it's in the final circle, both jumps are incredibly helpful, and you guys will definitely catch the opponents off guard if you use them. There is one more little jump that I wanted to share with you guys that is at the L-shaped building in Boneyard. If you're on the other end of the building, you can actually jump from the staircase onto the semi-truck. From the semi-truck, you can actually strafe into the second floor window. This one is a little bit more challenging, but I wanted to share it with you guys. This next jump is short and sweet, and it's very area specific. This only works in military base, obviously, but if you're in military base and you need a way to get into the firing range that is not one of the doors, this is definitely the jump that you need to use. From the little handrail on the building that I am showing, you can get from the handrail and jump onto the top of the chain link fence. From the chain link fence, you can actually jump over the wall of the firing range. This one is especially key in solos. In squads, I can't really see it being that viable, but it's definitely a good jump to know. This next one is short and sweet. I call these buildings the SOS buildings. They're our apartment buildings that are next to Superstore. Now, say you are fighting somebody that is on the other SOS building while you are on the one that you are on. If you down the person and they have a self-res, you can actually jump from one roof to the other if you time your jump just right. This one's probably a little bit more well known than the ones I showed previously, but if you time your jump just right, you can actually parachute onto one of the little canopies that are above the balconies, and from the little canopy you can jump onto the roof of the other SOS building. As a side note, you cannot do this on the two middle ones. You can only do it from the far right one to the second to far right one, and from the far left one to the second to far left one. You will not be able to do this jump from the right middle one to the left middle one because the gap is too big. Now, if you're a player that lands Superstore, these jumps will definitely help you. There are multiple jumps scattered throughout Superstore that will definitely improve your gameplay. So for starters, the first jump that is inside Superstore, you can actually get onto the second floor part of Superstore without taking the stairs or without going inside. So in order to do this, you actually have to jump on top of one of the little poles that are outside this little shack. From the pole, you can jump onto the roof of the shack, and from the roof of the shack, you can actually jump onto the second floor of Super without having to take the stairs. For this next jump, you can actually get into the second floor window that is inside Super without taking the stairs to get up there. In order to do that, all you have to do is stand in the little window that's on the first floor. From the little window, there is this little ledge that is above the entryway, and all you have to do is jump onto the little ledge, wait a second, and from that little ledge you are able to jump into the second floor window. This jump has helped me countless numbers of times because anybody that is camping up there or is up there will not expect a thing. Now, this last one I'm about to show you guys, it's pretty cheesy, I'm not gonna lie, and this one will probably only benefit people that like to camp and hide. I got killed from somebody sitting in this spot, and I spent a couple minutes trying to figure out how they got to this spot. From the little landing that is at the back end of Super, you actually have to jump into the windowsill that leads into the back end of Super. From that little windowsill, if you time your jump correctly, you can actually jump on top of the shelving unit that is up against the back wall. Now, this is only really beneficial to players that camp, or maybe you jumped up there right at the start of a game. But from this spot, you can basically see the entire back middle portion and the left-hand side middle portion of Super. No players really look up here, and in general, most Warzone players don't look up at all while inside of a building. So you can get some pretty cheesy kills from this spot, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I am not one to camp, but I guess if you like camping and hiding, this is your go-to jump spot. Now, this is the final jump spot I'm going to go over in this video. There are a few honorable mentions that will be shown at the end, but in this specific jump spot, it works on basically every house that has a little bit of overhang on the roof. From the attic window, you can actually jump onto the roof. This works on houses that have roofs that overhang the building that also don't have that little canopy that is over the front door. This one is a bit more challenging, so I decided to save this one for the end of the video. But all you have to really do is jump from the window onto the roof, and right when you jump, you have to push right and mantle onto the roof. This one is quite challenging, but if you practice it a bunch, you'll definitely get it down and you'll be able to do it on your first go around. This one is especially good for when somebody is pushing you inside the building. If you run up to the attic and hit the jump on first try, they'll jump straight out of the window thinking you're on the ground. Now, I do hope you guys did learn a few new jump spots that you may have not have known before watching this video. As I said at the start of the video, this is the first time that I've ever done a video of this style, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments below if any of these jump spots are new to you guys. Also, let me know down in the comments how I did on my first ever tutorial video. There will be a few more clips in this video that showcase honorable mentions, jumps that I think are pretty impractical but also pretty cool. Again, I hope you guys did enjoy my first ever Warzone tutorial video. Let me know if I should do more in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.